with Nina Hussain.
Good afternoon. In just under 2 weeks, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has created 2 million refugees. They've fled the fighting, but at times they came under attack as they did. Most have been welcomed across the EU, while in the UK, the government is still facing criticism over its response. President Zelensky will address our MPs later today. Before that, he told the world he's not hiding and he isn't afraid, as he questioned how a child in his country had died from dehydration in 2022. We start this programme, though, with some potential good news that a humanitarian corridor, a temporary ceasefire set up in the eastern city of Sumy, appears to be working. Ellie Pitt has the latest, including the aftermath of an attack.
This is why the residents of Sumy want to flee. Life as they knew it has been obliterated by Russian attacks. But this morning, for some, escape was possible. For the first time, humanitarian corridors have been opened, allowing lucky groups the chance to get out. Elsewhere, the devastation of war continues. This woman has been injured in a strike in Mykolaiv.
Yesterday, they attacked the city with cluster rockets. You know that they are forbidden. So 64 buildings were attacked. I mean, civil buildings, where people live.
Destruction will haunt this country for generations. Ukraine's president explains Russian troops surrounding Mariupol have cut off the water supply, leaving a child to die of dehydration. 2 million people have now made arduous journeys to leave Ukraine to neighbouring countries like Poland. In Romania, women have been torn by the decision to leave those they love behind.
I'm alone here, and I have no support here as well, because my family is still in Kiev and still living in war.
Meanwhile, the UK government has revealed 300 visas have been issued to Ukrainian refugees.
We wanted to make sure we just did the basic checks of they are who they say they are. Now, that's what we're trying to do. We've got to speed that up. Wherever they arrive, we do have to increase the provision of the checks. But once they're done, they'll be into the United Kingdom.
Back in Ukraine, the western city of Lviv is seen as one of the last safe havens inside the country. Now it's buckling under the pressure of new residents. Local authorities here need help to house hundreds of thousands of families. Amidst the chaos caused by this conflict, are young and old just trying to seek warmth and shelter, the basics to survive. Ellie Pitt, ITV News.
Let's join our Europe editor James Mates, who's in the capital, Kyiv. James, how significant is it that one humanitarian corridor, one of these temporary ceasefires, appears to be working today?
Yeah, well, very significant, particularly if you're from Sumy. And as Ali was saying there, I mean, these people have now badly need protection from the cold because temperatures are dropping very fast. They're heading for, we're told, -9 later this week, which is just exacerbating the problem for people who in these towns and cities which have no electricity, no form of heat whatsoever. So Sumy, it seems some people have got out. Kharkiv, it seems some people have got out. Mariupol, which we've been waiting days for. A convoy of buses went in there to get them out. No sign of them coming back yet. No sign of that evacuation is going to work.
James, on the military side of what's going on in Ukraine, reports overnight that a major Russian general has been killed. What are you able to tell us about that?
Well, we can't absolutely confirm it, and the Russians won't confirm it, but there are indications that it's true. You say a Major General Vitaly Gerasimov, who is the deputy commander of division here, is the second person of his rank to be killed. It's most unusual in wartime for people of this rank to be anywhere near the front, anywhere where they could possibly come under enemy fire. And it is taken as an indication that basically they are having to go to the front to try and sort stuff out, which their subordinate officers and men are failing to do. So it is just another one of those pointers to the fact that the Russians are far from having it all pull their own way, that they're massive snarl-ups, and getting stuff organised and getting men to fight is proving a problem for their most senior officers.
James Mates, thank you very much for that as ever. Thank you, James. Here, the Home Office has processed 300 visas for refugees fleeing Ukraine. The government is under increasing pressure to do more fast. Yesterday, the Home Secretary said that they had staff in Calais and support on the ground. But families arriving there after fleeing the war have found no evidence of that. So what is the truth? From Calais, Jonathan Swain reports.
They don't want to be on the coast of Calais or searching for a new life across the Channel. Roxolana has travelled hundreds of miles with her disabled brother.
We lost everything in Kiev, like apartment is destroyed.
The whole family are now cramped in a Calais hostel with their pet cat. And for them, Britain is the obvious choice.
Me and my husband, we do speak English. I really hope that I can live in UK, because I find this country the most comfortable for me.
The government says they are processing applications.
We have staff in Calais, we have support on the ground. It is wrong to say that we are just turning people back.
But yet we saw no sign of UK staff in Calais, just a note from a well-meaning charity saying exhausted refugees now have to travel to Paris.
The only people here helping are our volunteers. I have not seen anyone else. And if we can get here to help, I don't see why the government can't.
And this family is finally back together, but not in Britain. Dad Michael has a British passport, but after a long drive from Ukraine, they were stopped at the border in Calais because his Ukrainian wife doesn't have the right paperwork.
They turned us back and we end up sort of staying in a Calais, disappointed and gutted, and I don't know what to expect in future. If I need any help, who else am I going to ask?
Thousands may be applying to enter Britain, but long term, it doesn't mean they want to stay.
Do you one day hope to get back to Ukraine?
Yes. Yes, obviously, because your home is better than anything.
Jonathan Swain reporting there. Our political correspondent Carl Dinnan joins me now from Westminster. The government's still under huge pressure over this issue. What are you being told? Has a centre been set up in Calais or not?
No, a centre for visa applications has not been set up in Calais and is not going to be set up in Calais. But after a very confusing day on all of this yesterday, we do have a bit more clarity about what the government is doing. They are setting up, or in the process of setting up, a visa application centre in Lille, about 75 miles away from Calais, and they are looking at providing transport for the 600 or so Ukrainians believed to be in Calais to get them to Lille, where the visas can be processed. I think some of the confusion has been around the fact that the Home Office says it has had some staff in Calais, but they've been giving advice, not processing visas. So anyone turning up there has, up until now, been sent back to either Paris or Brussels, where the nearest visa application centres have been. The reason they say they don't want people congregating in Calais is because of the presence of so many people trafficking gangs in Calais already. And today a Home Office minister said here that they were already seeing people trying to get into Britain through Calais using fake Ukrainian ID. Now, the other thing the government has yet to tell us is when there will be another visa route for Ukrainian refugees. They can already come here if they've got family. They're going to set up a sponsorship route for local authorities, companies, individuals to bring people in, but no idea when.
OK, Carl. Look, there's a major event taking place where you are a little later. President Zelensky addressing MPs. What can we expect from that?
An unprecedented video address to the House of Commons, in the House of Commons, from President Zelensky. Last week, the ambassador from Ukraine got a standing ovation here. I think MPs will be very keen to hear what he has to say, even though some of what he wants, like a no-fly zone over Ukraine, is not on offer from the government here at the moment.
Carl Dinnan, thank you very much. The 2 million refugees we talked about earlier in the programme are going in their thousands to different towns and cities. So how did those places cope with such a big influx of people all at the same time? Rebecca Barry is at a train station on the Polish-Ukraine border. Rebecca, how is it there today?
Well, we're at a train station in Przemysl where all those people who are escaping Lviv in Ukraine arrive, and each day the numbers grow. As you say, the total number who've now fled Ukraine has reached 2 million. More than half of those, 1.2 million, have come here to Poland. And to give you a sense of the scale, yesterday alone, 13,000 people pass through this tiny railway station. They come carrying their babies, their bags, and they all look exhausted and in a state of shock. I saw one woman here earlier feeding her disabled son in a wheelchair as she crouched in this crowded corridor. And I've seen so many people simply sitting and staring, clearly in a state of shock. The old, who've perhaps seen wars before, who simply can't believe it's come to this again. It's hard to comprehend just what they might have been through to get here, but you can read on their faces the disbelief, the grief and the shock. Another poignant moment we saw earlier was when a volunteer offered to pray for a mother and her child. It seems in these senseless times, people are desperately searching for answers and for help. The UN point out that the people who are arriving here now, perhaps from eastern Ukraine, unlike those who escaped earlier, will have seen more of the horrors of war and so will be more traumatised. The Polish authorities, aid organisations and volunteers are providing organised support, giving food, transport and help, but providing the psychological support that so many people clearly need will be much harder.
Yeah, of course it really will. Rebecca Barry, thank you very much for that. Thank you. Across the UK, people have been collecting donations to send to refugees forced to flee their homes. On Tyneside in the northeast, one man decided to deliver the donations himself. Ed Blackbird loaded up a camper van and drove 1,500 miles through Europe to the Polish border, close to where Rebecca was just reporting from. Rachel Bullock joined him on his journey.
This is the border between Poland and Ukraine. On one side, war. On the other, safety. With lives thrown into whatever bags they could find, almost 1 million Ukrainians, the vast majority women and children, have fled here into the arms of their Polish neighbours. Their faces filled with shock and despair. And driving into the very heart of it is Ed Blackbird.
The traffic's busy. We're literally just heading into the town now.
A camper van and a trailer packed with supplies given by the people of the northeast, covering 1,500 miles over 3 days. Ed's only company, a teddy bear given by a 4-year-old girl called Phoebe from Tyneside, who asked him to give it to a child here in need of comfort. And there are plenty.
When we come in, we have lots in the back. Lots and lots of medicine, clothes, every food.
Yeah. The gates swing open and northeast help is delivered.
Hello, Rachel.
Hello.
Oh.
3 days.
Yeah.
How relieved are you to finally deliver this?
So relieved, but the people that are queuing up to get into this complex. So it's sad, isn't it? But it looks as though they've got some task on their hands here, looking after people logistically, where they're going to put them. Yeah. I really don't know, but maybe we'll have a walk and have a chat.
A walk which reveals the extent of the need here. Women like Oshka, who gave birth 8 days ago in a Russian basement to the sound of explosions. Marina, whose 18-year-old son wasn't allowed to flee because he's needed to fight. She, like so many here, was forced into a terrible game of chance of whether to stay in Ukraine or leave.
Lots and lots of young kids, 3-year-old, 6-year-old, 10-year-old. Lots of women. They've left houses behind, they've left businesses behind. Families, mums, dads, brothers.
And this is why you've come?
Exactly why I've come, yeah. Listen, this could happen in the UK. We just don't know what's around the corner. My family could be stood there.
And as the day starts to darken, Ed continues to hand out some of the donations in person, meeting the people he came here for.
OK, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good luck.
A skip and a jump. Kindness from many miles away, helping the future to seem a little less frightening.
There is no doubt the world has seen some horrendous images of life and death in Ukraine, but a young filmmaker there is using humour to illustrate the horror and reality of her current life living in an underground bunker. Valeria Shashinok is documenting her experiences on TikTok. Her films have amassed millions of views and hundreds of thousands of followers. I'm delighted to say Valeria joins me now. Valeria, are you surprised by the reaction your posts have had?
Hey to everybody.
You've had an incredible response to the videos that you've made, the little films that you've made. Are you surprised by the reaction of people around the world?
I make a video like that because, to be honest, I don't wanna that, for example, when I move to another country and I tell someone that, hey, I'm Valeria, I'm from Ukraine, and I don't want to see this reaction like, oh my God, Ukraine.
Because there is a life that you are living right now, and you are trying to show us how you are surviving in those circumstances, and you're doing it with humour, comparing a tin bath that you're having to use right now to a jacuzzi, talking of your mum's Michelin star cooking. How are filming these videos helping you to cope with what you are enduring at the moment?
You know, it is the easiest way to show people reality, what happened in Ukraine, and I make video not only with humor, I also show what happened in my city, what Putin made with my country. He destroyed many buildings, museums, he killed people. So I also show it my social media. And you know, humor, it is the easiest way to show people like what's the problem whole world have.
Yeah, and I think we're just seeing some pictures of you showing us what life is like above ground, and the destruction and devastation that you witness when you do come up, when you emerge from the bunker. And your clear message to the world is stop the war, and hopefully what you're doing is reaching out to perhaps some people who may not be following and concentrating everything that's happened in Ukraine.
I'm so sorry, but I didn't hear. Can you repeat what you say?
Valeria, just before we let you go, I just wanted to check how your dog is doing. We saw him in one of your videos. People will want to know, I'm sure.
You know, my family in a safe place, my dog always in a safe place. But for example, my mission now, from this social media, I wanted to show this problem for whole world. It's first what I wanted to do, and I wanted that this war stop. It goes like 12 days, and I'm already tired, exhausted. I cry. Maybe a couple of days ago, I cried for 10 times. Because, you know, I can't go outside. I can't meet with my friends because they go away from my country, from Ukraine.
Valeria, we will not stop thinking about you and keep telling us what life is like for you so the world can see. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Finally, it's easy to feel powerless when we see what's happening to the likes of Valeria. Many of you have already helped. Certainly in the UK, the DEC appeal has now reached £120 million. The situation has also seen some Hollywood stars trying to help. Here's Sally Biddulph.
To give you a quick update as to where we stand with the fundraising, we're halfway through. We're super excited. We want to say thank you to each and every single one of you.
As a Hollywood power couple, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis have a big reach. 30,000 people have already donated to their campaign to help those fleeing war in Ukraine, the country where Mila was born.
We're halfway there. We're at 15 million and we're heading to 30. And we're going to make this happen.
The pair have also pledged to donate $3 million themselves. Stars across the spectrum all wanting to show solidarity. Dolly Parton leading the pack at last night's Country Music Awards in Vegas.
Now, I don't want to be political, and this is not. I'd rather pass a kidney stone than do that. But I want us to send our love and hope to our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. Yeah.
Meanwhile, in France, model Gigi Hadid pledged to donate her earnings from Paris Fashion Week to charities which help those living through war. These simple acts of compassion, a human response to want to help. Sally Biddulph, ITV News.
Join Mary for all the latest on the new hour-long evening news at 6:30 from the Lunchtime team. Bye-bye.